music lovers, passionate followers of history are invited to a commemorative initiative, Embo, which will pay homage to Prof. Mangaliso Robert Sobukwe through dialogue and song. And this will be happening on the 8th of June 2024 at the June 16th Memorial Acre in Jabavu, Soweto. Sonically at the Soweto Theatre stage on the 9th of June 2024 as well. So to share a little bit more on the gathering, we're going to be joined by Vuyisile, Mshudulu, Director of Arts, Culture and Heritage. Vuyisile, good morning. Thank you for joining us at this hour.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Perhaps we could speak to the work of Embo and really what we can expect this time around. The importance of remembering and remembering Prof. Mangaliso Robert Sobukwe.
Thank you for this opportunity. Embo is a program of the City of Johannesburg which is really intended to have a much more broadly reflective approach towards South African history, but also to be more incisive in terms of the history. And another important element that we have uncovered is that our history has got a lot of distortions, So we need to find a way of presenting that history without these distortions. And lastly, one of the important things is also the prism through which we look at our history needs to be from an Afrocentric lens.
Absolutely.
And there's no better person to be a catalyst to an Afrocentric look at our history than Mkhulu or Robert Sobukwe, who we will be commemorating this way through a three-part program, which includes a panel discussion and a lecture, which starts this morning. The lecture will be provided by Velin Belega-Sompisi, and we also have other panelists that will then dive deeper into the life and times of Prof. Sobukwe. Then we have an exhibition that really chronicles, the service, the suffering, that Mkhulu Sobukwe has given to this country and also to the continent, because his ideas were not just about South Africa, but about, the freeing the continent from colonial domination. And then on Sunday, we'll be having the commemorative concert, where we really curated the concert in a way that will be more resonant with the stature and the ideas of Babu Sobukwe. And we've got on the lineup, Ipupo Likabiko, which will be giving a sonic revitalization of Sobukwe. And then we also have Zawadi Mungu, and Odwa Bongo, who plays Uhati and Mkhupe, which are the musical instruments that would be resonant with the childhood of Mkhulu Sobukwe.
Because he was a social activist, a political leader, a lawyer. He was a genuine humanist as well. And if we look at, the status that he's received amongst the pantheon of other South African activists, do you think we've done enough to pay homage to him?
Certainly not.
Yeah.
I think there's so much more that we can do, given how much Mkhulu Sobukwe has sacrificed, for this country and for this continent. And I think also the wealth of his ideas have not been explored sufficiently. And I think it is more a disservice to the generations, the current and future generations, for us not to dive deeper into his ideas, but also to how much he contributed in reshaping history, through many initiatives that he led. And one that stands out is the leading of the Positive Action Campaign, which he led, on the 21st of March in 1960. And many would recall that this led to the Sharpeville massacre of 1960, and that reshaped the course of history. Because if you look at the number of laws that, were enacted as a reaction to, that historic event. But also after his arrest, the General Law Amendment Act was enacted specifically for him. And he's the only person that has been, arrested through that act. And that act basically gave the Minister of Justice the sole powers to decide the extension of the imprisonment of Babu Sobukwe. And Babu Sobukwe was initially arrested on the 4th of May 1960 for 3 years, but he never was released from prison until his passing, on the 27th of February 1978.
No, absolutely, because the Sobukwe clause extended to 6 years, and then he had to go to Kimberley. And I'm just looking at how he was silenced. I mean, to this day, we know there's no public record of his voice. people are still searching for that. And so as he is silenced, perhaps you could speak to how this exhibition and this artwork, this concert is going to help release his voice, help us also explore some of those, attitudes and frameworks that he so passionately sacrificed his love for, the role that the arts can play in our social political discourse.
So the intention is really to plug in particularly Africans and especially, young black people into the spiritual frequency of Ubaba Sobukwe, and not just to rely on his physical voice, because his voice permeates through in so many ways through the ideas. And one of the most profound things that Ubaba Sobukwe said in a speech that he delivered when he was graduating as SRC president at Fort Hare is that we must fight for the liberation of Africans, but we must fight for the right to call our souls our own. And I think that is the best aspiration that he has set for us as Africans, to really aspire to a point where we can call our souls our own.
No, absolutely. Thank you for coming in and for sharing that. Just remind us very quickly, today and tomorrow, where is it all taking place?
So today we are at the June 16 Memorial Acre.
Yeah.
We're starting at 10 o'clock. We're starting with the panel discussion, and then we'll also open the exhibition. And on Sunday, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we'll be at the Soweto Theatre.
Thank you, Vuyisile, for your time on the SABC at the Sawa. Embo commemorates the centenary of Prof. Mangaliso Robert Sobukwe through dialogue and song. We were in conversation with Vuyisile Mshudulu, Director of Arts, Culture and Heritage. Let's leave that conversation there, take a quick ad break. We'll be right back after this. Do stay tuned.